All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of the Button Mashers podcast, where we talk about games, esports, gaming news, and other gaming related topics. Hope everyone's doing good today. I think we should probably start off with some introductions, since a lot of you probably will not know us. So the three of us are all streamers, and I am going to pass it over to Bearded Beer Time. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you stream.
Yeah, so my name is BeardedBeerTime, but most people call me BBT. And I do a variety of different streams on Kick, on Twitch, and also on YouTube as well, where I put a bunch of different kinds of content over there. And you can check me out on any of my socials, and all my links will be down below.
All right.
All right, Val, your turn.
I am ValiantSummer. People call me Val, asshole, whatever. Just don't call me late for dinner. Oh, that's bad. Anyways, I stream on Twitch and YouTube. I stream when I can and whatever I can. Like Souls games, first-person shooters, things of that nature.
All right, and for those of you that don't know me, my name's Raystlin. I stream on Twitch and YouTube, usually simultaneously, and people call me Ray. So that's basically the gist of who you are watching and listening to today. So I'll give you a brief overview of what we're going to go into today. We are going to start with some Diablo 4 and their newest expansion, the Vessel of Hatred, that launched yesterday, and we will probably go over the launch details on that. Hint, hint. We have a segment called Smash or Pass, where we're going to watch a game trailer and gameplay videos that all three of us have not watched yet, and then we're going to put our thoughts in on if obviously we had played the game or not. Then we're going to get into our news section. We are going to go into some Ubisoft news and some Sony news. After that, we're going to go into what's up with Dr. Disrespect. Then we're going to go over just the games that are coming to Xbox Game Pass this month or have already launched this month. And then at the end, we're going to do like a freestyle segment where we will talk with the people watching us live and what questions they may have and or what they might like us to go over in our next podcast. All right. You guys ready?
Oh yeah, let's get it.
All right. So,
Let's go.
Diablo 4. So, let's start with how well they launched this game. So,
Well,
how well
let me take a
they
drink
launched-
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's all take a sip. Take a sip. You know, by the way, we all like our alcohol around here, so drink
Our
with
adult
us.
beverages.
Yeah, I'm drinking some 18-year Flor de Caña. I know. Actually, I think BBT, you're drinking some tequila too, aren't you?
I am.
All
I am.
right.
I'm sipping on some blue margaritas right now.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
feel like I should. I feel like I should go get a glass of Woodford.
Something harder. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
So anyway, the launch, or if you could call it a launch. So it was supposed to launch. Now again, I'm in Eastern time zone, so is Val. BBT, you're in Central, right? So it was supposed to launch at 7 p.m. our time, 6 p.m. his time. About an hour and a half before launch, Blizzard's like, "Hey guys, sorry, but yeah, we're gonna have to, push out the launch a couple hours. We just aren't ready." Everyone blew up. Everyone was pissed. It ended up taking an additional, I think, 5 hours, didn't it? Before people are actually able to get in. And then there was, I think, a lot of server issues because everyone banging the server up front and things like that. So for a Blizzard, it wasn't good. But we'll get into more on the game anyway. I think I'm enjoying the game. I know BBT's played a little bit. Val will probably play it. So BBT.
I plan on playing it when I can afford it.
Yeah. And you can play the season, which has a lot of the newer stuff in it without the expansion. You really only need to buy the
Right.
expansion to play the Spiritborn, what's it called, the Dark Citadel, which is the co-op play, and a couple other small things. Everything else is available. But let's go to BBT. Are you familiar with or want to go over some of the improvements that they've made to the game since launch? So before the expansion, because Diablo has gone a long way in the year from its initial launch. What did you like about change-wise?
Yeah, there's been so many positive changes. So basically from the word go, I feel like there's been a litany of different things that the community itself has vocalized that, man, all these different things from season, essentially from 1, 2, 3, and 4, all of these things together, this is what the game should have been from the word go. The launch of the game should have been what we have right now. And there's been so many good advancements, so many good things that they've done with the in-game content, being able to essentially summon super bosses or bosses that have just like way more harder to beat. I think those are all very positive things that they've added to the game. It keeps you invested into the game a little bit longer. There's definitely some of like the Crucible style of a game mode in the pit. The pit has been, I thought, was very fun. I've really enjoyed the last 2 seasons with the pit. I thought that was a great addition to the game. Something that gave you a little bit extra to try to go and achieve, especially in a timed amount. So you only got 15 minutes to be able to go through the pit, and you really try to see how far you can go. And I think on the last 2 seasons, I've gotten to 100 at least on both of those pits, and I felt accomplished and felt like my build was good. So it really kind of puts your build to the test. But that was one of the big additions that I thought was fantastic. And if you want to talk about some of the newer things that they've added, there's been a lot of things that they've added to the game over the last 4 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
But I have really truly enjoyed all of the new content that they've put into the game every season. Excluding season 1, I thought that content was pretty weak.
I agree. Val, do you want to input anything on what you've enjoyed change-wise before I go into any of the new stuff with the expansion?
Well, I'm a couple seasons behind, so it's, I'm still stuck. I think my last season was season 2.
Oh wow, okay. So yeah, you didn't get to see a lot of the changes.
Yeah, and my experience, okay, let me ask you guys this: how is the grind for gear? Are you able to get is it easier to grind for that perfect roll now compared to what it was in the beginning?
Well,
because I know in the first couple of seasons that I did play, the grind for that perfect roll was real. I know when it came to the tempering, I think that was when that was introduced, was the last time I played it. And I bricked so many items just trying to go for that perfect roll.
You can still brick items. So before the expansion, you can still brick items. I feel that the grind isn't as bad as it was in the first 2 seasons. They have so many more ways of getting your items quicker, especially the tempered Uber bosses where you can summon a level 200 tempered boss. It costs, 3 times, was it double the mats, but gave you 5 times the rewards or something like that, I think is what it was. So it was really, if you could beat them, it was really good. I mean, you would almost fill your inventory with legendaries, uniques, and mythics if you got them. You'd literally have a 7.5% chance of a mythic dropping with each kill. So that made it a lot easier. I think a couple of the good quality of life changes they made in it was pets. Something that was in Diablo 3 for so long, they could go and just pick up your gold and some of the basic materials. Like, you don't literally have to walk around and get everything.
Nice.
Dude, that's
a game changer right there in and of itself.
Yep, that's a game changer. No longer having to keep your gems in your freaking stash. They had their own spot for the gem, or at least the gem fragments, so you didn't have to take up space in your stash for that, and things like that. Now they've changed that a little bit with the expansion. So the expansion, they've added a few things. Mythics seem to be easier to get. They're easier to craft. They require half the materials, half the sparks to craft, so it should be much easier to get the mythics that you need for the build, or get higher end mythics with the greater affixes. And then the Dark Citadel is actually supposed to be really fun. I'm like level 35. I haven't been able to get far enough in it, but I have watched some videos on it, and it being an only co-op experience is pretty sweet. I like that they finally added a co-op only experience into a game that was supposed to be kind of MMO style from the beginning. And like, when the game first launched, you saw all these people around on the map. I'm like, oh, this is fucking sweet. Like, you see all these people, you can team up and kill this thing and do this. And then all of a sudden, everyone got to endgame, and it's all instances, and then the maps are empty because everyone's in the instances. And they're doing a lot with this expansion to keep more people on the map, with the Voidwalker, and some other things, to keep people on the map. So you're actually going to start to see more people around as needed. So I do like that.
And one thing to that I thought was a great addition to the game is, like, because of the Citadel, it's like the clan aspect of the game was completely irrelevant. It was essentially just a snapshot of a group of people that you are familiar with and that is a part of your clan, for you to be able to actually just see if they're online a little bit easier. But it didn't really help because you just had your friend list.
Yep.
So the clan aspect of it just didn't really make too much sense. But now as they start to get more content in there that is essentially like co-op dependent gameplay, then that increases the reason to have a clan and to be able to utilize the people in the clan. I really do wish that they would make an adjustment to where there was a clan only like event. There was a clan only thing that you had to team up with the people in your clan to be able to do something, because then being in a clan matters. Like, I think Destiny did a great job at this. So Destiny 2, with their clan system, it's like you shared with clan rewards. And as you did raid bosses and different things like that, you had that capability of getting unique rewards that you would be able to drop to you because your clan actually performed something together.
And when it came to the clans in Destiny 2, as you progressed and leveled up your clan, you got higher tier rewards, as right. Like, it was there was a reason to do clan events, because it leveled you up to get better rewards at the end of end game content. And I think Diablo could utilize something like that, and it would bring more people in to use the clan function and feature in the long run.
And they almost added something in the expansion to make clans even more useless. They have a group finder. So for the co-op things, there's an in-game group finder. So that almost pushes the clans further. I think, like that, having some sort of rewards, even if it's just like some badass cosmetic rewards that you could get for clan featured goals or whatever, even if it's the clan like killing X amount of monsters, like have it at like 1 billion or something for the season, because if you have a clan of 20 people, you'll kill 1 billion monsters. It'll happen. Just have like full, even though it's not necessarily something all the clan has to do together, just have like these tickers that when you're logged on, you're always going towards something for the clan as well as for yourself.
Totally agree. I think that would be a monumental change, and it would make clans relevant.
Absolutely.
But yeah, all those quality of life changes were enhancements, I guess you could say. Those were all very good that they've done. They listened to a lot of feedback, but the community basically forced Diablo's hand in that, because people stopped playing the game.
Oh yeah,
Like season
I
one,
didn't, but yes,
people just stopped playing.
they did.
And this is a great example of how a community of players and gamers can have power over a game. If they want that game to succeed and they wanted to push it on, like continue to have seasons and so forth, like having the ability to be able to like group together and say, we're just not going to play your game. Like that's actually that's really important for not only Diablo, but any other game that is in our stratosphere that we can work towards and say, listen, you guys said you were going to do X, Y, and Z. You did not hold up to your end of the bargain. We're not going to play your game. Therefore, your game is either going to die or you're going to have to do something to make the game better.
Yep.
But
And that's exactly
unfortunately,
what the Diablo community did.
and it worked for Diablo, but unfortunately, it didn't work for Overwatch because they promised the world with Overwatch and then continued to roll back their promises, and people still play it. Like people play the hell out of it.
I'm not gonna
But
lie,
it's
I love
nowhere
Overwatch.
it's nowhere near the either the watch time on any gaming area. Like there's just really no esports to Overwatch anymore outside of like college and high school stuff.
Yep.
There's not really much active there.
Right.
So it's like it's reached its ceiling in its current state.
Absolutely. And I think Overwatch 2 actually should have been Overwatch 2 and not Overwatch 1.3. Because
Yeah.
it was the
That's
same
right.
game. It was the same game. They're just called Overwatch 2. Like, come out with a new game. And the whole part of 2 was supposed to be the PvE stuff. They cancel it.
Yeah, they just took it back.
Yeah, took it back. But again, I still enjoy Overwatch. That was one of the main games I played for a long time on stream. But it just got too much, switch away from it for a
Now
little bit.
I have a question for you too. When it comes to Diablo 4, Ray, you had mentioned that it was supposed to be like a MMO style game. Do you think there's a possibility that they introduce raids at some point?
Well, that's kind
Or
of what this
if it's-
co-op thing is supposed to be. So
Yeah.
if it does as well as I think it's going to do, so I've watched a lot of the big Diablo players, and they have all raved about the Dark Citadel and how it is the main reason to buy the expansion. It's not the Spiritborn, it's not the added areas, it is absolutely the Dark Citadel. So I'm very excited to eventually get to that point and play it. So if it does as well as I think it's going to with how everyone's raving about it, I think it could definitely evolve into more than that. Like, I think you should be able to get to the point of having 8, 10 people in a group to do stuff. I think that would be fantastic. I mean, you do the what is it, the world bosses. How many people do they have at that? What is it, 10? At least 10, right? That are fighting.
Is it 10 or 12 per instance?
Yeah, per instance. So have a full like raid with 10 or 12 people, or even start with 6 or 8, like just eventually evolve into it. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I totally I think that's almost needed at this point, because when you start to get to like, even if they add more content, like what kind of content are you going to make that is going to make people excited about your game? And like, yeah, you can put new areas in, you can put new enemies in, you can put a new class in, but then it just becomes like Diablo 3 again, and you have the same kind of scenarios. But Diablo 4 has to be a standout. So they've got to push the boundaries a little bit more, and they've got to introduce something that's in the AARPG world that is currently not being done. Because like with the tempering system, they totally ripped that from Last Epoch. I mean, that is literally like the exact thing that they ripped from Last Epoch. It was such a good system. Everybody loved it. They're like, this is what it should be. Like, this is it. I get a decent roll. Let me try to enhance that roll. And then I still have to have some RNG to be able to get that perfect Uber roll. Yep. I still have to do that. But like, give me some opportunities. Give me a system that allows me to be able to get to that peak content and without it like costing everything under the sun, and then I still might not get it.
Yep.
So I think in season 3 they started introducing, or season 2 they started introducing some of those like variations of it.
Yep.
And then it's progressively gotten better. But at this point, like, I think that they really have to push it to a new style, because they can't be oh my god, they can't be Path to Exile, because Path to Exile's got this crazy, you got to have 15 spreadsheets up to be able to figure out what's the right build for an AARPG. And for those people that are really into AARPGs, that is the perfect game for them. So don't try to be Path to Exile. Don't try to be Last Epoch. Like, create something that's new and unique. And for what Diablo has at the core and the base of their game, there's an opportunity here for them to have that merger of being able to have that ability to be something new and unique with the clan system, with with these different kinds of content where you need to be PvP, and you need to be with your friends. You need to have a group of people to play with. And that's why, like, going back to the raid boss thing, is that feels really important for them to go in that route, because their entire foundation is set for that. And if they never choose to go down that path, then I think it'll be a huge miss. And I think honestly the community that love Diablo, the group of people that are in their late 20s, early 30s, late 40s, that's more of a casual gamer that just wants to sit down, play a couple of hours, and enjoy the game, and like separate themselves from the chaos of this life. And that's what Diablo does really well.
Yeah.
So I think they need to continue to go down that path.
Yeah. And in my personal opinion, every single season that they have released, they have improved upon the game. And they just need to continue that. Like, I feel that it was pushed to release, probably from investors and stuff. It wasn't quite ready. And they're like, okay, we're going to launch it now. This is our plan for the seasons, and listening to the community, because a lot of the things they added in definitely were, I don't know if it was like requests from the community or complaints from the community, but they definitely listen, and they need to keep listening. The Vessel of Hatred so far, in the little amount of time that I've played it, is a good advance forward. The Spiritborn class is a lot of fun. I'm having a blast with it. It really, to me, feels like the monk from Diablo 3, with some more special effects and things like that, but it's very monk style in my opinion, but I like it. I can't wait to get to end game and see what I can do with it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The Spiritborn class, it feels good. Right out of the gate, it feels strong, and it feels like there's a couple of different builds that you can go through, and it not be a singular line that this is the way that you have to play Spiritborn. It doesn't seem to be that way from all the different styles and concepts of builds that I've seen.
Druid.
Yeah, it's very all over the. Yeah, you have to play this one druid, or it just feels bad. It's one barbarian, and it feels bad. But it seems like there's different variations of the build, and I would say that it's kind of like the monk and the witch doctor had a baby, and that's what the Spiritborn kind of feels like to me.
Yep, exactly. All right, you have anything else you want to put in, Val? I know we kind of took over that conversation because we play it a little bit more than you do, but
yeah, they need to step out of their comfort zone. Yeah, Blizzard needs to step out of the comfort zone, and I mean, I get it. They're doing what they know how to do Diablo, but the problem is that they've got, like, they're sitting, they're like sitting on cruise.
Yep, autopilot.
That makes sense. Autopilot. Thank you.
Yep.
And it just, once they start, pushing the boundaries, like BBT was saying, and step out of the comfort zone and start introducing stuff, yes, they might introduce something that is polarizing, that the community might not like, but you live and learn. that's the only way they're going to be able to make the game better.
It's okay to make mistakes. You have to learn from the mistakes that you make.
And I think that's what, Blizzard and several other game companies are afraid of doing, is making mistakes, because, it's going to, it's one of those situations where bad press is not always, good press. Like,
not with games, only with
not with games.
All right, so I think that's good for our Diablo segment. Up next, we're gonna go into our Smash or Pass segment here. You guys ready for Smash or Pass?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right. What do we have for Smash or Pass? We have Dragon Age Veilguard. So, to start, have either of you two played any of the Dragon Age games?
I have not. That's one of the game series. It's mildly interested me, but it's one that it's never like solidified or caught my interest to where I want to go out and try it.
Okay. BBT?
Yeah, I've played all the Dragon Age games and I fucking love them. Like they're fantastic. Like
they are.
They're so good. I mean, they're gonna have to really level their game up though, simply because of the D&D game. Oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. That came out. That's
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3. With Baldur's Gate 3 coming out, they've set a new bar with this type and style of game, and Dragon Age is going to have to do something special here, because they're essentially going head to head to Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep. They are. And the one thing I've liked about Baldur's Gate is you can play the game with it not quite being turn-based, or you can pause it and then make it kind of turn-based and things like that. And that's one thing that's very unique. I personally have not played any other games that have had that style. And, Baldur's Gate 3 is still very, very turn-based. You really can't do like a live thing on it. So they have that advantage, in my opinion, but they have to do it right, and they have to evolve properly with the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the Dragon Age Veilguard trailer, and then we're going to watch a gameplay video of it. Both of these are official, for the actual game. And all three of us have not seen either of these. So we're going to base what we see out of these trailers, which you're going to see up above here, on whether we would smash or pass. So, all right, let's play the trailer. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right.
Get it.
Looking good, old friend. This'll take more than you and me.
What are you thinking?
We need someone to be our eyes and ears in the shadows.
Someone to bring a little darkness to the daylight.
We're going into the Fade, aren't we?
Digging up a lot of buried secrets.
What about Darkspawn?
Yeah. Someone who will stand between us and a pack of demons.
You know there will be dragons.
Right. We'll need someone with fire in their blood. One more thing. This crew needs a leader. Someone we can count on. Someone that the world can count on. But where are we gonna find them?
All right. Well, I feel that trailer does its job and makes me want to see more. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Trailers are there to just get your interest, and I think it did its job. It doesn't really show you any of the gameplay or storyline. Really introduces the characters that are in it, but that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, they kind of.
Yeah,
I will say they kind of ripped off, like, not graphically, but just the way that the trailer's done. It felt very Borderlandish, with the way that they did the trailer on that, and.
Yep.
I mean, it feels a little bit of a ripoff on that, but on the flip side, is it still gets me hyped for it. But this is coming from a fan of the game, so
yeah,
going into it, so it's a little bit different there.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't tell you any type, like someone that's never played a Dragon Age game before. It doesn't tell you anything about the style and how the game works. So that's why we're gonna watch the gameplay video. So coming up next. Gameplay video. Let's go. Nudity. Yes.
We've gotten
What would a
word from the
BioWare game
wardens.
be without?
Have they
nudity?
found Gillinane? Not yet, but they found something else worth killing. One of her blighted dragons.
Rook, you made it. Good.
Wouldn't miss it. We have unfinished business with that dragon.
We've tracked it to a ruined tower nearby.
That lair is a death trap. We need to lure her out to have any chance. So we challenge her, draw the dragon out into the open, then attack. Just you and me now.
Everyone, get ready!
Wardens! Ready ballistas! Wait for it.
Come on. Come on.
Hit the wings! Force her to land! Second detachment! Flank on the walls! Let's go!
That's wild.
Consume their flesh!
Okay, so as someone who is a noob to the Dragon Age games, do you play? Can you switch in between the characters, or do you have a singular character like let's say
So-
Skyrim or a
So,
Souls game?
so did you see the parts where that menu popped up?
Yes, that's
Okay,
my
so
that
that's
was my
like-
next question.
Yeah, so that's like kind of pausing the fight, and those are your teammates, and you can select each teammate and what like you want to cast at that point in time. So you're kind of controlling everyone in your team at one time.
So but you cannot I cannot switch from
No,
my mage to like physically switch to play as the fighter.
No, you should be able to do. I believe you can do that. You can.
No,
do
you
that.
can switch because I think I believe in the trailer you see two different characters that you or three different characters that you switch between.
Yeah, you can switch which your main one is, and then you have a select amount of spells that you can have the other ones cast at certain times, and you can even move them to certain spots of the battlefield and stuff if you want. And it's all done through a pause battle screen, which is pretty cool. And I like the setup that they had for that in this one. That was actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, it seemed like they took an approach of more of almost like a Souls feel to it in boss fights, at least.
Yep.
Obviously, we didn't really get too much of a combat outside of a boss fight, but BioWare does the pause system better than any other developer that's ever even attempted to do something like that. Whether it's with Mass Effect or now you're seeing with Dragon Age, you have this pause feature that's a part of the game that allows you to control the AI essentially for every character that you're not controlling directly, and you can virtually switch between them at any given time. I didn't see if there was any kind of like stipulation on when you can switch, which could be kind of interesting. I don't know if I saw enough there that would make me want to pass, but I would initially say that the game looks decent, looks good. The gameplay looks good. It looks fun. It looks, they have a unique take. Dragon Age has a unique take on a party system. So it's like whoever is in your party, that is the people that you can switch between when you go into a battle. Now, depending on which Dragon Age you've played, you can swap people in and out, or you can just have your party as a whole. And I don't know if someone dies that they're dead forever, which I like that concept, kind of like a Fire Emblem concept.
Yeah.
I don't think that exists in this one by the way that it looks and feels from the trailers. But I mean, being a Dragon Age fan, I'm gonna smash this for sure.
I feel the same. I it's been a while since I played a Dragon Age game, but I have played all of them and I loved all of them. So I would definitely smash to begin. And there's definitely nothing in this the trailer or the gameplay that like made me go like cringe and was like, oh god, they put that in there. It looks like it would definitely be legit. I would definitely try it, and I'm sure that I will play it for hours and hours and hours for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely giving it a chance.
Yep.
Yeah, and as someone who's never played a Dragon Age game ever, I would most likely give this a chance. So yeah, it's going to be a smash for me.
All right, sweet. All right, up next we are going to go into Ubisoft news.
Yeah, so Ubisoft as a whole, there's a couple of different things I wanted to target here. One of the things that I wanted to go over was that their stock as a whole has gone through a massive decline. So their current stock is at $2.83.
Oh man!
Now,
holy shit!
Oh my god!
It's down
That's
that
low.
far. Now, back in 2021, the stock peaked at around $21. And if now that obviously is a huge indicator that something is drastically wrong. Not just with them putting out shitty games over the last couple of years, But the fact that everybody seems to be losing faith in the developer, like Ubisoft is in this state of a dire need for a home run. Like it's bottom of the ninth, you're down 6 runs, and you got to try to score. You got to put some points on the board.
It's 2 outs.
And right now, they just continue. They continually strike out. And I want to just go over a couple of these games, just to kind of give you an idea of the peak of Ubisoft and the state that we're in currently. Of course, everyone knows the Assassin's Creed series has been monumental. It changed the game with the way that they developed everything that they did. Like Assassin's Creed changed the game, and it was a massive success for a lot of years. And then recently it's just kind of gone to shit. And we'll circle back to the Assassin's Creed piece with the new game being delayed. But I'm just going to give you a list of some of these games that they've put out. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. Fantastic. That series was incredible. And of course, you have Siege, which is ongoing, and it feels like they're holding on to Siege by a thread. And the Far Cry series was amazing. I remember when they changed the single player game when they came out with Far Cry 3. Do you guys remember the feel of Far Cry 3?
Yep.
Like they had this interactive environment. It was the first time, or one of the very first games, because there were a couple of games that had this feature in there, but I felt like they really kind of highlighted it. Like you could literally set a fire outside of an area and it would spread, and then it would draw attention over there, and then you could do something over here.
Wasn't
it was
that
just
Far
this
Cry 2 where the fire would spread? Wasn't that the second one they introduced that?
I could be wrong. I thought it was 3 when they I think you could put stuff on fire, but for the environment to actually be engulfed by the fire based on what you did, I think they took the concept in 2.
I'm pretty sure it was Far Cry 3, because I don't remember playing Far Cry 2, and I remember you could, like, if you set off a grenade or something, next to
remember, and I thought it was 2, and I could be wrong. It might have been 3. I just remember that you could get a Molotov cocktail and you'd throw it in a building, and there was dry grass next to the building, and all of a sudden the whole entire field would be on fire, and you'd be like, well, fuck.
Dude, it's incredible, right?
Yeah, like, what did I just fucking do?
It was incredible. Like Far Cry 3 set a bunch of new milestones, and back then it felt like nothing was off the table, because the protagonist in the game was the most iconic enemy of all time. Like from the very beginning of the game, you couldn't wait to kill this guy. He was truly the most psychopathic killer that you felt like you were obligated in this world that you were surrounded by, that you had to take care of this guy, right?
Yep.
Like, so then you had Far Cry. Then you had other games like Prince of Persia, Raymond, Watch Dogs. You can just go down the list of games. The Rainbow Six, The Division, Rainbow Six Vegas. That was one of the games that I literally switched from being a Halo pro over to being a Rainbow Six pro. And that right there was just this monumental game that I felt like just changed the game. Then you had Rainbow Six Siege, which really kind of flipped the script on what PvP gameplay, like strategic shooting gameplay, looks like. When your direct competition was Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six Siege completely changed the game in the way that you can prepare whether you're defending or attacking. You had this opportunity to prepare for the onslaught or the assault as a team. Then you had the Immortals, Phoenix Rising, which was an amazing game. Of course, The Division, Beyond Good and Evil. You had Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I know that there's a lot of people that are still playing that game because it's so fun and it's incredible. The game is massive and just a blast. So it's when you go down the list of all these different Ubisoft games that have been these massive successes, that's what Ubisoft was built on. And then where we're at now, it feels like what they do is they find a series and they run that series completely into the ground, and then they move on to the next series without any kind of new development, new excitement that made Ubisoft unique. Like the way that they did Wildlands, the way that they did Splinter Cell with the stealth combat that was so driven towards having, that was unique. The only other game that was like that was Metal Gear Solid. So they were a direct competitor in that world, and they just tried to make it better. And in a lot of ways they did. But then you see the Assassin's Creed series where it was so foundational for the time when it first came out. And then it, like, everything that people complained about in Assassin's Creed 1, they fixed it in 2. And then they did Brotherhood, and then they did Assassin's Creed 3, and they just kept making it better. And then out of nowhere, it just kind of all went to shit. And then now we have the Assassin's Creed game that they have to have this game hit a home run. I mean, it feels like this is do or die for Ubisoft, is being able, or for Ubisoft to be able to get to that point where Assassin's Creed is good. And now this huge delay that I believe they delayed it until February. Now we're 14th. At that spot where it's just, I don't know. They've got to do something crazy.
They're targeting that game. They're targeting single lonely people for their launch, February 14th.
You gotta call me out, Ray.
Hey, just so it was
like
I wasn't calling you out specifically. You're not the only one. There's got to be at least one or two other people out there. So now the yes, and what I want to comment on that is yes, they have fallen into this pit that yes, Assassin's Creed is their make or break. And I'm going to be honest. I have yet to ever play an Assassin's Creed game. That's one thing that I've never played. And I don't know if I want to play this one until I see what the reviews are, because it has also fallen into this pit. And I don't know if I want this to be my first Assassin's Creed game to play. I want to go back and play them all. But if it doesn't, I mean, I know their stockholders, aren't there stockholders like asking them to sell to what's that Chinese company?
Tencent.
Tencent. Yeah, they want them to sell to Tencent, which is trying to buy up everything right now. So I'm sure they'd buy them. But is Tencent going to do what we need with Ubisoft to keep them alive? Probably not. They'll probably just, burn them into the ground. The only Ubisoft game that I like right now, and that's very controversial for a lot of people, is X-Defiant. I actually really enjoy X-Defiant, but the player base is dropping off fast, and it's in their second season, and I know Ubisoft said that they are dropping support if they don't increase their player count by season 3. And some of the changes they're making to it are better. I think, Val, you were telling me that they changed the, the entry level?
What? Yeah, the what is it? The welcome playlist, where you get to from level 1 to level. Originally it was from level 1 to level 25. It was like an intro to the game.
Yeah, you only played with other people up to level 25.
Yes, and then after that, it was they threw you to the wolves. And now, I enjoyed the game, but I do not enjoy going up against someone who is 300 levels higher than me. That just because it's just not fun.
Yep.
When you consistently are playing against the same people that are in triple digit levels and you're trying to grind out to level 40, which that was one of the updates in the new patch notes. They said they updated the level cap to level 40 so that you can
for the welcome playlist.
Yeah, for the welcome playlist.
Okay.
Now, I agree. I welcome that because it has not been easy getting from, like, it was easy getting from level 1 to level 25.
Yep.
For me, level 25 to level 35 has been horrendous.
Yeah,
We have
so I
played
mean, I think
multiple.
it's good. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say we have played multiple games where it has been nothing but, we would get, you and I would jump in, and we would be the only two that would be,
Under level
two,
250.
yeah, exactly. And it's like all those players would be on the opposing team.
Yep.
I'm not saying that they need to introduce skill-based matchmaking, because we got, everybody knows how abysmal that is.
Yeah, and there is skill-based matchmaking in ranked, which is where it should be. And them changing it to level 40 for the welcome playlist allows you to play and get to level 40, and then you have the choice of, do I want to get run over and play against people that are really good, or maybe people that are not in the unranked, or go into ranked and actually play people that are at my level. Now, I think I'm level 47 now, and I've played some ranked, and I can definitely say that the ranked mode is way more even than unranked. Because it's only 4 versus 4 instead of 6 versus 6. And I have not played with anyone on my team or against me that has been higher than silver, with me being in bronze, because I've only played a little bit. So it's legit. Like you do not get run over like you do in unranked. But that grind to 40 is really bad, for sure.
And I think that could be a reason why the player base is dropping off, because once you hit 25, and you're getting thrown to the wolves.
You get
like,
fucked,
there's
literally
bent
over a fence and fucked.
Yeah, and it's why would, as a casual player that wants to jump in and play a couple of rounds, why would I want to just go in, get steamrolled, and not have a good time? I'm trying to, come home from 10, 12-hour day at work and unwind with a couple of games.
Yep. That's not an unwind game. That's a get me hyped up game for sure.
But you get it. There are people out there that use that to unwind.
Yep.
Sure. And if they're, I did that with Call of Duty. I played the hell out of, Call of Duty multiplayer, and I never once got, we would get steamrolled occasionally on games, but it was like, it wasn't as bad as some of these matches are in X Defiant.
Yeah, and X Defiant is not their game to get them back on track. It's
no. I agree with BBT. It's going to need to be this new Assassin's Creed game, which I'm actually looking forward to. I'm looking forward to this being in feudal Japan. I've played a few Assassin's Creed games. I haven't played all of them. I played a little bit of Valhalla. I played Black Flag. I'm sure those aren't like the, top tier go-to entries for, introduction entries, but I enjoyed both those games. And I am a huge fan of Japan and the Japanese culture, so I'm looking forward to this. And I don't, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, like, going back to X Defiant just real fast, I've never played it, and it was mainly because you had to buy the game at the beginning, correct?
No, it's free to play. Oh, you mean when it first launched?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. It launched May of this year, and we started playing it a couple months ago now, Val, and it was free to play.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a purchase.
So it was never a purchase. Well, so, and they had a direct competitor with the finals.
Yep.
And I found the finals to be a new take on a first person shooter. And I get it that X Defiant was trying to go against like your basic COD, and it was Ubisoft's way of trying to combat Call of Duty. And I just it felt like there was no hype behind it. There was no desire to play it. And then you have other games that Ubisoft has come out with, like Skull and Bones, which was a massive flop. They had an amazing opportunity to take a more realistic take on oh my god, what's the game that Microsoft has?
Oh god, I know what it is.
It's the pirate game.
Oh,
And it's been out for like a decade now.
yeah.
Sea
of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, yeah.
Yes, yep.
So you have Sea of Thieves, and they had an opportunity to take what Sea of Thieves had done in a very cartoony style of a game and make it realistic, exciting, and fun. And it was the first where they called the quadruple A title. And they charged an astronomical amount of money to play Skull and Bones. And it was the largest flop that I've remembered in recent history. And then they followed that up with Star Wars Outlaws, which was very lacking in a lot of ways. Like it feels like Ubisoft has lost its edge. Like, think about all of the crazy shit that was said in Far Cry 3. Just the dialogue alone.
Yeah.
It made it to where you felt like, damn, this protagonist is an actual piece of shit that I can't, like, the things that he would say and the things that he would do in the cinematics would just naturally drive you to hate this person beyond belief. And it made you want to do everything in the world. There's the edge of what Assassin's Creed brought, what Ghost Recon did, what Splinter Cell did, what, like, that edge has just been ripped away. And and I've seen a lot of people's posts, like on Reddit, where they say that Ubisoft became woke and all of a sudden that edge is gone. And I feel like we're just getting some cookie cutter games from them.
They've lost their disconnect with what gamers really want from them. They definitely launched some things that could be successful, but when people look at a Ubisoft game, they want something game changing. They want something that's going to keep them involved and something that's going to pique their interest and change whatever it is going forward for how other developers make that style of game. Like Far Cry. Far Cry was so ahead. I still remember playing the original Far Cry, and that was so long ago. Like, it just swimming in the water, and it was like the first one that had like real water, and you're just like, oh my god,
game changing.
Yes, game changing. And I don't know if they have the ability to do that again with the amount of funds they don't have. That's not something that you can do with $8 in your freaking bank account. You need money to do that, and they got away from it for too long. And I think they've dug a hole they're going to either get sold off or go under if Assassin's Creed does not make them a ton of money. And it's possible it will, but with their history, recent history at least, I don't know.
And I think that's why they pushed the new Assassin's Creed game back, because when you look back at the Ubisoft's core list, it's all been single player games outside of once they got into the Division and was Wildlands multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so but there wasn't PvP in that.
No, I think it was just co-op. I only played it a little bit.
Right.
It was just like
it was only co-op, but
but you get where I'm going. Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, the majority of the Tom Clancy games have all been, a single player campaign of sorts or a co-op like the Division, which introduced, PvP zones.
Yep.
And then now you've got games like Siege, X-Defiant, and the last Far Cry game that I played was 6, and it was good.
I never played 6. It didn't look it didn't interest me enough. But I played 1
it
through
was
5.
I bought it on sale and it was okay. You know, I played the hell out of 5. I played the hell out of New Dawn. I went back and played a little bit of 3, and I did not get a chance to, play 4. And the only reason why I
4 was
played
really
3
good.
was 3 wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't 3 the one where the crazy ass protagonist was not like, plot twist, and spoiler alert for those who haven't played it, wasn't that one the one where the crazy ass guy was not actually the true protagonist?
No, that was, I think that was 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember if it was that one.
It was
or
super
4.
clear. But honestly, I don't remember 4 that much because 3 was so memorable.
Yeah. I played
I
4
only
a
rem-
lot. Me and my friend co-op the whole entire thing.
I know the one thing I know about
So
4
long
is
ago.
that if you sit there and talk, you sit at the table where the main bad guy is long enough, you can roll credits before you even start the game.
Huh.
That's about all I know about 4.
Yeah, so Far Cry 3 was the guy that he had a mohawk,
Yeah.
and I'm like struggling to remember his name. I just wanted to
Voss.
fucking kill him.
It was Voss something,
There you
VAS
go.
or VAAS.
Okay.
That dude was
He was
dude was
nuts.
so bad.
So I guess in the end here, they're pushing out a Assassin's Creed. I am 100% okay, and I actually prefer developers to push a game out if they don't think it's ready yet. I don't care if you push it out 2 years. If you want my money and you don't think the game is done yet, push it out. Their problem most of the time is the shareholders. They're like, we need the money now. We need to show profits now. So that's why the gaming industry's changed so much, and a lot of these companies are turning into Ubisoft because they are like, well, we want to do this, and this. Well, put the game out now and just make money now and then fix it later. And it's like, well, if you fix it later, it doesn't necessarily mean that those people are going to come back. You might lose all those people or, whatever happened. So
Now, okay, real quick, do we want to touch on a little bit of the other controversy with it regarding the new Assassin's Creed game
sure.
with the protagonist?
I don't know anything about it, but if you guys want to talk about it, for sure.
Okay, BBT, do you know anything about this controversy?
Yeah, I saw a little bit about it, but you sounds like you know more about it. So go for it.
I don't know. I don't remember the characters' names, but I know there was a lot of outcry because the main protagonist, one was a gentleman of color and the other one was a female. But based on the historic events, those characters were true to that period in that area. So I think that was, I think when it comes to, like some of the core people bitching, I think that one was a miss on, so I'm hoping that those core people, when the game officially launches, are, hushed, silenced compared to, the rest of the gaming sphere as a whole.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't looked too much into it.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else that we want to talk about Ubisoft, or should we move to Sony? We are going way longer than we expected.
I know.
I forgot how much we love to talk.
I know. I would like to take a quick bio break if possible.
Okay, that's fine. We can do a bio break, and then we'll talk with chat real quick, and then we'll go into Sony next. All right, we will take a short break. We'll be right back. All right, so Sony news, the highs and lows of Sony. We are going to have Valiant take a point on this. So what you got for us, Val?
All right, we're going to do this, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. So the good is Sony had their recent state of play just a couple weeks ago, and they announced a ton of games, one of which we talked about in Smash or Pass, Dragon Age Veilguard. But some of the other ones that I wanted to touch on, there's some new spooky games coming out, like Fear the Spotlight. That looks like a interesting one. It's kind of almost like an 8-bit game. Ghosts of Yote, which is a spiritual sequel to Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
They're remastering Horizon Zero Dawn for PS5 and PC, which
Win.
Yeah, but that
I
game
think
looks
that, I
so
think that's
good.
a win.
yeah,
That game looks so
I
good. Do they
don't-
need to remaster
they don't-
it?
No, I don't think they do.
For
You know,
PC though.
Yeah, for PC, I understand remastering it, but for PS5, when the PS4 version still looks amazing. Anyways, Arc Age Chronicles is an online action RPG. It looked to me similar to like an Elder Scrolls Souls style game. Hell is Us, which is another like very arcane soul style game. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered is coming. That one's good. That should be interesting. Anybody here played any of the Metro games?
I have
Like
not actually. I actually purchased a bunch of them on a deep discount and wanted to play them, but I have not. I've heard they're really good games.
Well, Metro Awakening is coming to the PS VR. So
Ooh,
that one
could be
that
interesting.
that could be yeah. For our near Automata players, the Stellar Blade DLC is dropping. Has anybody gotten a chance to play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that just come out not too long ago? I know I played the hell out of it and I loved it.
Shredder's Revenge or whatever it's called?
Yes.
I have not, but I did want to.
Yeah. I love that one, and they've got a new DLC coming out where they're introducing a female turtle. So
What?
I don't know how that one's going to work. Yeah, I don't know how that one's going to work out. Alan Wake 2 DLC, and then the PS Plus games that they announced for this month are WWE 2K24, Dead Space, and Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, which that is a phenomenal game. I've not played it. I've seen videos on it, but I've not played it.
Okay.
All right. So we come to the bad. PS5 Pro announcement. So what you are getting with the PS5 Pro is an upgraded GPU, faster RAM, a 2 terabyte SSD, and a CPU with the ability to boost. It is only a digital version. I know from what I'm understanding, all the disk drives, like external disk drives, have sold out across the board.
Yep.
So I personally, as a PS5 owner, do not see the point in spending an additional $300 for the PS5 Pro for those nominal upgrades when you can get the same system for $399, or you go with the disc version for $450.
So this is, I think, what Sony is trying to do with the PS5 Pro is make people think that they're actually going to get 8K games. Not going to happen. There's no way it's going to happen unless you're going to get 8K Tetris. Is the only way that you're going to get an 8K game out of a console nowadays. And they're adding more PC only features. So you're going to get a lot of the games that are actually going to be
like ray tracing,
full ray tracing, 60 frames a second, which is
you got to have
unable to be done on a console correctly as of yet. So for I think the Pro is geared towards your hardcore visual need. I need to see all the eye candy people. Otherwise,
I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be. This is strictly geared for the Sony fanboy and fangirls out there that have to have the latest and greatest Sony tech. This is, something that, I only see this as it's a beta test for the PS6.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone.
Yes, it is.
It's a filler.
They did this with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro.
Yep.
I mean, there's the only time we as gamers got a substantial jump when it came to things of this nature is when Xbox was still, was still in the console race a little bit. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Like when there was actual true competition, it was pushing both players in the game to put out a better system. And then we hit the lull with the current game, gaming ecosphere as far as console gaming goes, and then we get this.
Yeah. Man, I'll be honest with you, like I've always been more of a Microsoft guy myself. But when I look at this entire scenario and I think, just buy a PC, man. Yeah. Like who is this for? Because I get that if you're a console player and you want ray tracing, like you're at the price point between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. If you bought both of those consoles, like you're not quite at the PC price to get ray tracing, but you're not far away.
Yeah, you're in the ballpark. That's for sure.
You're in the ballpark, right? But I don't understand who this is truly for.
It's for this, like I said, the Sony, the hardcore fanboys. The only reason why I got a PS5 was, well, one, I kind of stumbled into it. But at that point in time when I bought it, it was when it was still new and you couldn't get Sony games on Steam. You couldn't play God of War or God of War Ragnarok or Spider-Man on PC. It was only Sony exclusives, and that's the only reason why I wanted a PlayStation. Otherwise, I'm like you, BBT. I'm a Microsoft fanboy. Not quite true fanboy, but I have had, Xbox 360 all the way up to, I haven't gotten a Series X or anything like that, but, that's where my loyalty, I guess you could say, lies until it comes, when it comes to all the other games that are cross-platform. Outside of that, I can see why having a console, especially when they're launching the Sony exclusives on the PlayStation 5 first. But when they do when they coincide PC and PS5 releases, I'm gonna buy PC. Simple as that. Which which segues into the ugly.
Okay.
Concord, the $400 million flop. BBT, you said, you talked about a game that you thought was the biggest flop. No, this is the biggest flop we've had in years.
Yep.
It was.
Heard of it.
Exactly. So,
okay,
it was supposed to be an Overwatch competitor. Yeah. The game
it's
called Concord. It was called Concord. It took them 8 years to develop and $400 million, and it was supposed to be the Overwatch killer.
Before the open beta even come out, it was billed as the Overwatch killer. It was officially on the market for what, 12 days?
14 days. And Steam users, so Steam players peaked at 697 people.
Dear God.
We played it.
Wonder
so we played it on my stream when it came out. Or it was the beta, so we didn't have to buy it because I would have been really mad if I paid $40 for this game.
You said it best. We gave it an hour's chance, and that was 59 minutes too long.
Exactly. Yes, we played it for an hour, and it was 59 minutes too long. Exactly. And I'm like, I'm not paying $40 for this. Sony
No.
refunded every single person that bought the game.
As they should.
Well, they should have. That's how bad
Well, and
it.
okay, so there's a lot of people, and we know someone, that is under the impression, that this game is a casualty of go woke, go broke. I don't. Yeah, you can take that as you will. I feel that they, of the $400 million budget that they had on this game, they spent more money on backstories and lore and character development and nothing on the core gameplay.
No, the gameplay was clunky as fuck.
See, that's where we're going to with video games, is that, like, ultimately video gamers, people that play the games that these companies are putting content out for, it's blowing my mind that the game, they're just so out of touch. I mean, it goes back to the CEO's tweet, or his email that got leaked, saying that, the different kind of people that thought the game was great, like on Outlaws, and then ultimately no one liked it. The problem is like, the game, who gives a shit about X, Y, and Z? Make a good game first.
Yeah.
Make a good game first, because at the end of the day, you're playing a game. And if the gameplay sucks, nobody wants to play. Like, if the gameplay sucks, no one's going to buy it. Period.
Yep.
I don't care. You could have the greatest story ever. You could have the greatest backstory. You could have all this lore and cool shit in it. But if the gameplay sucks, dude, what are we doing?
All right, everybody's played Overwatch here, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so to put it into perspective, when you jump into a game of Overwatch, the majority of the characters, they all have the same relative run speed, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most
I'd
part.
say that, yeah.
When you went into a round of Concord and you played a tank, you were you were a hulking monstrosity, and it was super cool to jump, play as a character that was fast. It's supposed to be like a fast CPS, and you look up and you are literally looking up at this, 10, 12 foot tall behemoth next to you. But that behemoth of a tank walks so slow that by the time you actually got into any type of engagement, you were already dead.
Yep. It was so bad.
There was a few characters that felt all right as far as, gameplay is concerned, but a few characters that feel, that run all right does not carry a game that's supposed to be billed as a competitor to an already established game.
Yeah, I just when we've gotten to this weird point to where developers are slowly becoming out of touch with their player base, and
in reality,
that's real. Yeah, that's like, in reality, they're losing touch of their player base,
and it's getting exponentially worse.
It is, and it's getting to the point to where it's like, why would I play your game? Like, what's drawing me in?
And that's why
I don't give a shit about 99% of the shit that developers are putting into games. That is why indie games are doing incredibly well right now. It's because that is a gamer making a game for other gamers.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. Because,
and I think
and the whole like woke thing is just a part of it. Like, I'm literally playing video games to escape all of this shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
literally playing a game to remove myself from the reality that is this chaos that is happening. Like, I don't need more of it in my life. I want to just enjoy the game that I'm playing, and that's it. There's nothing else to it.
And I think that's why when you know, indie game, you know, AAA developer, when they have a hit, it blows up because of that reason. Look at Black Myth. That had what record did it set? Single highest, you know, game or, you know, release sales for Steam. And I mean, I'm currently playing it and I love it. And there's other, yes, it's got its faults, but when it released, it was setting records financially.
I mean,
So-
look at Stardew Valley. I mean,
my
you
God.
can go down the laundry list of video games.
Well,
Owl World,
So
like all of these games. Go ahead, Ray.
yeah. So I just want to. There's one thing that when I've been a PC gamer since I had a Pentium 75 PC. All right, that's probably before you were born. But anyway, it was. And the one thing that used to be in almost every big release game that was, you know, out back then and has fallen off, game demos. When a game came out, you could play the first level or two for free of almost every game that was out. And it was the best thing ever because you would play this game and you'd be like, oh my God, I need to buy this, or thank you for not charging me money because I don't ever want to play this again.
All right, I'm going to show my age here, and I know Ray's going to feel
I'm
this.
older than you.
BBT, yes. BBT, I'm not sure. You know, you're only, what, 1 or 2 years younger than me?
I don't know. I'm the young buck here,
You
Yeah.
are.
and I'm not a young buck.
Circuit City.
I know. Oh, yeah, okay.
I
Yeah.
remember going into Circuit City, like, you know, my parents would drag me to, you know, shopping back in the day. And when I was old enough to go venture off on my own, I would always wander into Circuit City and play the demos there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
100%.
always, you know, then you had when like PlayStation had a magazine, you got a demo disc with multiple demos on it.
That's gone.
You know,
now it's like, we'll let you play the beta and see if you like it for free. And, you know, I get that. That's still here, but the demos were the final released game that you could play.
Yeah, and
it's just it was such a good thing to have that is just gone. And if
and with Concord, when we played the beta, that was supposed to be the final beta, like stress test.
It was the game. It was the
like
it
that
was the game.
essentially
It wasn't a
the
beta.
game.
It was, here you go. This is what we
This
spent
is-
8 years on, and within the first 10 minutes, we were like kind of all looking at each other like, well, we'll keep playing it. Maybe we're missing something.
Yeah, and
No, we're
like
no.
you know, I played, you know, a little bit of a beta of a game called Off the Grid. It's supposed to be like an
Ooh, I heard good things about that game.
extraction shooter, and like you know, it felt all right. Yeah, there was a lot to it, but like, you know, you could tell it's still in early access, and you know, you have to be invited to it. But like, I can understand why, you know, doing it that way, and you know, but was because I think this was the only open beta for Concord, wasn't it?
I think they had closed beta for people that pre-ordered it. So the people that wasted their money before other people wasted their money, you got to play
you
it.
know, most of the time they have multiple open betas. So they have the closed betas, and then like Deadlock. Okay,
Yeah,
Deadlock
Yep.
was a closed beta, and then you have to be
you have to be invited.
invite only.
Yep. And that
you know,
game's good. That game is good.
Game is good.
Yes, it is.
It's frustrating.
Dude, or what about the open beta? I don't think I don't know if BBT played it, but I know you did. Marvel Rivals.
Oh my God. Now, that is a game. I'm not going to say it's an Overwatch killer, but that's going to be a direct competitor, and that's going to take a lot of Overwatch's gamer base.
Gonna take me.
Mark-
I can't wait. What is it?
Mark
December
my
8th?
words.
December 6th. It's early
December 6th, I do believe.
December 6th. I will be playing that game. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched you play Ray, and it does pique my interest for sure. But then again,
December
like
6th.
Overwatch, I have like 100 hours in Overwatch, and
Rookie.
which isn't that much,
Yeah.
considering what
I'm just
majority
saying
of the player
because of
base
my
Rookie
has.
life,
numbers,
my
gotta
life, I've
pump
sucked.
them up.
Yeah, how much of my life I've sucked into that game.
But then again, it's like Overwatch is a game that it doesn't necessarily appeal to me.
Yeah.
So will I play Marvel Rivals? Yes, I will play it. And I will probably really enjoy it for a period of time. And then I'll have to take a break from it.
And
And
when
I
it comes
probably
to
will never pick it back up again.
When
But
it
that's
come to
because
Overwatch-
it's the style of game that I just don't really care for. Per se.
it doesn't resonate with you like it does, myself and Raystlin.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
style of game. It's
It
just
took
something
me. It took me playing, running with a consistent crew to really, get into Overwatch. Yes, I bitch about the game and some of the jankiness,
Valrage.
but Valrage, yeah. But I didn't get that with Rivals, and I enjoy, I dread running solo in Overwatch. I just loved every chance I could play Marvel Rivals.
Yep.
It was a stark contrast, even though, you got, your set character list like Overwatch, but it was fun. It felt good.
It was fresh. It felt fresh. And I think
Yes.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And as long as it continues to feel fresh, I will like it. And it's a free to play game. So
Yeah.
if you don't
if you don't vibe with it, you just move on, right? It's easy.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's why Deadlock is more my cup of tea over Marvel Rivals.
Yep.
But that's because I like MOBAs. So
Yep.
it's more my cup
I'm
of tea.
really
MOBAs.
liking Deadlock. That game is definitely going to take up a lot of my time. I'm not going to lie.
MOBAs have
Yeah.
never been my personal cup of tea. I've played a little bit of League. It didn't interest me. What was the other one? Dota
Smite.
2.
Yep.
Smite. I
Yeah,
never.
Smite was great. I played the shit out of Smite.
I
know you
never-
did.
They never resonated with me.
It's a unique style of game because just to play one match, you have to commit yourself to 45 minutes of play ish, give or
Yeah.
take. And
Yeah,
early
and
on, if you
Smite-
make a lot of
yeah.
mistakes, you fuck the whole game up. But
Yeah.
that's
And I think that's why I was not a fan of League, because with the couple of matches I did play, within the first 10 minutes, oh yeah, this is a loss. This is a wash. But I didn't want to get penalized for leaving because, that's not how I roll.
Yeah.
and it's
I
not-
ride
it's
that
not-
train wreck right until
and
it
a lot of
derails.
people appreciate you for that because there's a lot of people that will bail on those games.
Yeah. We
So-
should probably hit the
Yeah.
yeah, I think we should. You're right. We're going way over time here. Okay, so next here we are, and I hope everyone loves this. We're gonna go into Dr. Disrespect news. I chose, I think, a good meme for this. So I assume everyone here knows what allegedly Dr. Disrespect messaged a minor. I think it was a DM through Twitch.
Yeah, it was a
right?
whisper.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it was a whisper. It was
Yeah,
probably
it
a
was,
whisper
for
right
sure.
in his ear. And he's banned from Twitch, moves to YouTube, right? Whole thing where no one really knew why he was banned from Twitch. Some people thought it was because he was streaming it on his phone at TwitchCon and walked into a bathroom, or there was all these things.
That did happen, and he did get a ban for that. But
He did, but not a permaban. Yes,
But not a permaban,
Not a
yeah.
you are gone from our platform, which is huge because how much money was he making Twitch?
insane amount.
Insane amounts of money. So he moves to YouTube. He does pretty well on YouTube. All of his followers go over to YouTube, and he finally tweets out and agrees and tells us what happened. He messaged a minor. Doesn't say exactly what he messaged, right? But it had to have been something inappropriate, right? You have to assume that. Just if I say hi to a 14-year-old, I'm not going to get banned. There's more things that need to be said.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, but so he came out and he said that it teetered the line of inappropriate, right?
Correct. Yes. But
hold on,
the exact words that were said.
Which edit?
Yeah, which edit?
He added,
exactly.
He edited his tweet or whatever his announcement was multiple times before the final product came out,
and then still deleted it. Right? Didn't he end up?
And then ultimately deleted it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So currently, he is demonetized from YouTube. He is no longer a part of his own studio.
He chose to step down.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Midnight Society. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
There's some nuance to that too, because he still has it in his bio.
Yep.
That he is linked to them, but they have no longer said that they are linked to him.
Yeah, he said he's coming back to it. He's planning on coming back, and they've said we have never said that.
Yeah, it's a whole weird scenario, man. Like when I look at this, I'm like, first and foremost, without releasing what was said, it's very difficult to have a stance that could get behind him. But like I've been a huge fan of his for a long time. Let me preface that. Because he set his creative style and the way that he does his content is his production value is probably second to none.
Yeah.
And when you go through all of these different things, like there's a lot of things that as a content creator myself, I feel like I've learned from him. And I can tell you without a doubt, I've never messaged a minor. And
did you learn that from him, or did you know that beforehand?
No, I knew that beforehand because I'm a mature man, happily married, mature man. That I know that is a bad idea, nor would I ever think that it would be a good idea.
As a gentleman with a teenage daughter of driving age, I would, if I found out that there was a gentleman of his stature messaging my daughter, I would not be thrilled, to
Especially
say
with
the least.
70s porn stash.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I would.
That's a red flag. Right
the Ethiopian caterpillar.
Still doesn't rhyme. Son of a bitch.
Ethiopian caterpillar. Oh man,
that's what he calls it, man.
That is the quote of the stream.
I mean, that's what he calls it. I mean, it's a crazy situation because, like, someone that's been a longtime fan of his, that I definitely have not agreed with some of the different things that he said and done and that type of stuff. But the reality is that what he did was inexcusable, and it's not something that I could ever get behind under any circumstance. As being a dad to two girls, it is I don't see how I could ever be in a stance that I could ever get behind it, unless and I will say this though, is that if there's a difference between saying something inappropriate and then what does that mean? Like when someone says it teetered the line of inappropriate, like I have no idea what the fuck that means. Like there's too much nuance there. And I'm sorry, but if anybody talked to my daughter in a manner that would teeter in inappropriate, and she is a minor, like that's I don't see how we can get around it. Like I don't understand how I can't support that.
All I have to say, BBT, is if anyone was to say anything teetering the line or below the line of inappropriate, I am straight on a plane down to where you're at, and I am going to personally help you
Didn't
kick that
wanna-
person's
I-
ass.
I
Like,
didn't want to
I'm done.
go. I didn't want to go to. I didn't want to outright say that when I
Yep.
was talking. It's just, it's it's an implied situation. I don't care if it's a just slightly above the line, teeter line, below the line. When you're hitting the line, it's
Yep.
you can't come. In my opinion, you can't come back from that.
No. And you shouldn't be able to.
You're
And
always
I
going to
honest-
have that label.
and again, I don't know what was said, but if he is saying it teeters the line, to me that tells me it's way below the line. Like, it's gone.
Yeah.
You've
You mean
stepped
it's over.
or yeah, sorry. You have stepped over that line so far that there's no coming back. And you are saying it's teetering the line just to keep people okay, well, maybe he didn't do what we think he did, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I
there's
really
always-
hope YouTube does not allow monetization. If you want him to stream on your platform for free, fine. That's what you're doing right now. It's not hurting anybody. You get all these people watching him, blah, blah, blah. You're probably still making money somehow. I don't know how, but...
Ads.
Well, he's not monetized, so there's no
he's
ads.
not monetized, so he's not making
But-
anything off
There's
that.
no ads.
But don't they still play? But don't they still? Couldn't they still play ads?
They
even
probably
though
play
he-
ads, but they're not paying him for those ads.
Exactly.
I don't-
I
I don't know. Like, I'm not monetized for ads on YouTube, and anything that I watch on my channel, like if I want to watch it, ads never show up, whether I'm on my account or something else. I don't think ads even show up on your channel until you are monetized. So unless they demonetized him but kept the ads because he's in that,
But it's also
status.
how does that work when it comes to live streams? On
I don't.
YouTube.
I don't think ads
VODs?
pop up on live streams. It's only VODs. I
VODs?
do not think.
Yeah,
live
okay,
streams
so-
get ads.
they're still gonna play, like, even if you're not monetized, they can still play ads. The channel just doesn't get paid for them.
Dude, I guarantee you, if you watch my VODs, you're not going to get any ads.
That
It-
seems
it doesn't-
strange.
No, it
I
doesn't
don't
happen.
know enough about YouTube's
They
policy when it
don't.
comes
If
to
you're
that.
not monetized, they don't throw ads there. They do not.
Yeah.
Unless
it
someone
makes
knows
sense.
differently. I have never. I watch a lot of YouTube of people that are not monetized. A lot of it is BBT. He puts a lot of stuff. No ads ever pop up for your stuff, and I don't have YouTube
There you
Premium,
go.
so it's not blocking.
I was gonna
it.
say
It's not blocking it. I don't have
I've had
YouTube
YouTube.
Premium, so
I've had
and I watch a
YouTube
lot of
Premium
other
for 10
streamers
years.
or content creators that have stuff on YouTube that are not monetized, and I have never yet seen an ad. So I don't believe, unless because he was demonetized, maybe they are keeping the ads, so they are making the money and he's not. And if that's the case, more power to him.
Yeah,
But I
let
really
'em-
don't. I hope they do not monetize him again.
I mean, and this is where it gets tricky for me. Like, I don't know how I could support him. But on the flip side, it's like, okay, so even though I'm not in his shoes, and nor would I ever be in his shoes to be in the predicament that he's in, because I feel like I'm a mature man that would
Yeah.
never go
Yeah.
down that path.
I believe
That
all three of
would-
us are.
Yeah, right. And
Well,
I'm pretty sure we're
This
all in
isn't-
that category.
This isn't let's be honest. This is not the first major controversy that he has been in. He has always been a controversial figure, but I can remember before. I think this was before he really made it big. He was at a party. He was not Dr. Disrespect. He was, himself, Guy Beam, or whatever his last name is, and he was all over someone that was not his wife. There's
Yeah,
video
no.
footage of
Yeah,
that.
no, I mean, but he's came out and he said, I mean, he came out and he said that, hey, I cheated on my wife. I've done some of these, horrific things that have put my wife and my marriage in jeopardy, and those types of different things. Like he's came out and he said that. Like I'm not even. I don't think these are two completely different separations. Like
Oh, absolutely.
the difference between having this,
having an
this
affair or dealing with a minor are in completely different categories.
Yeah,
they are. I'm just, my whole thing was, it's still, to me, he's just, the controversies have just gotten worse over the years.
It's getting worse. Yep.
Yeah. So what's the next one that's going to happen with this guy?
I think he's got a pretty big stop sign in front of his face right now. I think he's trying to like not make things worse. He's probably going to act like an angel in his, at this point, in hopes that he can recover from this, as he should. But again, it's like, okay, if this happens, how long until something else slips? Because when you're that type of person, in my opinion, you're that type of person.
Yeah.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, like, because I've been a longtime fan, and then hearing all of this and seeing all this, like, I'll never support him again, but whatever, like whatever YouTube decides, it's their platform. They get to figure out what, there's definitely, there's this weird dynamic too, that when he came out and he said his comeback stream that he addressed everything, that was like a 20-minute, essentially a monologue of him essentially not fully defending himself, because he didn't defend himself. He said he made a mistake and that this was not okay. But he also said, like, he ran it back with all of these information that he gave that made it less bad. But it's just, I just don't see how it is something like, if you're at the time that it happened, I think he was probably in his late 30s or mid 30s, low 30s. Like at that point, you should be mature enough to make the right decision by not doing any of the things that he did.
Yep.
And that's why you see, his closest friends like Nick Merckx and and Z Laner even coming out with a bunch of different Tim the Tap Man, like, hey, I can't get on board with this. I can't, like, we're done, type of thing. But like the entire truth is crazy, because if there was just the messages that people could see, then they could make the determination on whether or not there was the true crossing of the line, and that there was something that was completely inappropriate, and then let it be done. And then if you want to support him, continue to support him. And if you don't, then that's fine too. But the
truth is always somewhere in the middle.
That's right. That's right. And he continued to say on and on and on again that there was no legal action taken. There was no, that the person that was the minor was the age of consent. He continued to bring that conversation to light, that was a thing.
Now,
but at the end of the day, it's like, even if with the age of consent, like, everyone has their own determination of kind of what that means and what that is.
Yep.
And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that if I was in his shoes, he could do whatever he wants with people that are of age, and he chose to have these interactions with someone that was under 18.
Yep.
So
all right, enough with Dr. Disrespect. We kind of had to go over that. That's big news. All right, so we're gonna do the last segment before our freestyle, and we're going way over. Our plans is to have this as an hour in the future, guys. That's my bad for having so much content in here, but we'll trim it down for next time. So we're gonna go over real quick. Games coming to Game Pass. All right, so just gonna kind of go over the game, the date, and the systems that it'll be on, just so you guys will have that, because I know a lot of people subscribe to Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate if they play on PC and console. So October 2nd, I know that was a few days ago, but October 2nd it was a big release date for Xbox Game Pass. There's MLB The Show 24, console only. Open Roads, console only. Sifu or Saifu, I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. Sifu, thank you. Sifu, that's on the cloud, console, and PC. October 2nd, Mad Streets, and that is on cloud, console, and PC as well. Inscription, October 10th, cloud, console, and PC. And I thought this was an odd one, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, October 25th, and that is on launch day for cloud, console, and PC. I figured they'd probably want to get some extra money for that game, as big as Call of Duty is, but they are going to be giving that, I don't want to say free, because it's technically not free, but included in your package. Do you guys have any comments on any of those? I know Val was talking about Sifu. Sorry, I already forgot what you said. How Sifu? Seafood, yes, seafood.
Think seafood.
Eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Sifu, it interested me. It's a roguelike game where you play as a character that every time you die, you just progressively get older. You maintain all your abilities until you hit a certain age, and then you die and have to restart.
Right.
Open Roads looks like a kind of narrative, interactive game. Mad Streets looks like a weird Streets of Rage type game.
I used to love Streets of Rage on the Genesis.
Inscription is a card-based game that is very creepy, and I own it. I just have not gotten a chance to play it, but it's a very the main story is you're playing against someone that is trying to when you lose they take your life type deal.
Okay. If it's not as in-depth as Magic, I don't want anything to do with the card.
No. It's
I know BBT agrees with me on that one.
It's not anything. It's not anything like Magic. It's more like not. I don't want to say more like Hearthstone, but it's more. You place a card and then it's just you attack type deal. I think.
Yeah, I've seen some other people play Inscription.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's a cool, unique take on a card based game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you. There's been so many games that I probably would have never played that have been pleasantly surprising that have been on Game Pass. And a couple of those have been if you're into the old school, Final Fantasy style JRPGs, Sea of Stars was incredible. That game was amazing. They did such a great job with that game. And that game was amazing. A game that I'm coming up on finishing my playthrough of Flintlock, the Siege of Dawn. That game is so much fun to play. It's like a cross between Bloodborne, Assassin's Creed, and I would probably say Prince of Persia. And it's by A44 Studios. And they've got another game, Ashes of something. I don't remember what it's called, but some of these games are truly amazing that if they weren't on Game Pass, I probably would have never given them a shot.
Yeah.
There was another game that I really enjoyed. It was called Metal Slinger. That game was so much fun. It's kind of like a Doom style of a game, but it's a rhythm-based shooter.
Oh, and it's all I watched you play that a couple times.
It's all heavy metal and
about the timing of shooting with the music. Yes,
it's got to go with the music, and it's a great style, and I had truly a ton of fun playing it. And then after I beat it, it was you the replay value was more along the lines of of trying to increase your score and to get a better outcome, like you get like these stars and stuff.
Yep.
But there's so many great games that's on Game Pass, and I really enjoy the service as a whole.
Yeah, Game Pass is great. I mean, it gets you to look at games that you normally wouldn't buy. It gives you some, AAA day one releases to play. It's a great value for what you get into it. And I even also pay the EA, what do they call it? The EA Game Pass or EA Play. It's like $100 to $120 a year or whatever. I think they just increase it to $120 a year, and you get all the EA games included as well. So I really like that. So there's a lot of good subscription services out there to play a lot of games.
Now, when it comes to Game Pass, like on my end, where I've got like both my kids have Xboxes. I've got my youngest daughter took over my Xbox. My son bought his own. And
so you subscribe to Ultimate.
Yes. And we have, Game Pass across everything. Now, what the thing that I liked about Game Pass is, coming across some of the side scrollers. Like one of my favorite games is Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Now, I played the hell out of that game, and I don't think I would have pulled the trigger, even though it interested me. Until I played it on Game Pass. It's games like that, where you can just jump in like, what's this about? Oh, this is a fun game. I actually enjoy it. And having Game Pass and being able to have all that functionality with the service, just it's almost a no-brainer, in my opinion, for me to have.
All right, so we will. I think we'll close down episode. We'll talk with chat here just a little bit afterwards. But I want to thank everybody that watched us live. Thank everyone that watched us on the podcast that is posted wherever we're going to have it, anywhere that you subscribe. I hope you subscribe, do all the fun things so you can see our next episode. We do plan on doing these once a month. It will be on Wednesdays. I don't know if we're going to continue with the second Wednesday. There were some things that gave us a hold up. We were planning on the first Wednesday of the month, but that obviously didn't happen. So we'll talk off stream here and see when we're doing the next one. But keep an eye out. Please subscribe, and anything you can so you can get alerted when we either go live or the next podcast is live.
If you are on YouTube, don't forget to hit that notification button to let you know when we do go live next.
Exactly.